Hi, I'm Nan Simonsen. I'm a nationally board certified health and wellness coach. I work with a lifestyle medical practice called Blue Zones Health, and I work with support groups and created a support group out of the clinic. That's not even a support group. It's a well, in a way it is, but it's people um, who meet every Tuesday afternoon with me, and we just talk about a lot of subjects. Usually it's something I bring up, record, and then we chat on that, but we chat on a lot of other things. And one of our members, Janet Aspeth Ricky, who is of Plant Powered Peddlers fame, she has her YouTube under a number of names, but she is somebody who's gone 100 days just pedaling across states and parts of the country. She said to me, because on Friday, I'm going to begin a protocol that I'll explain to you. And she said, why don't you talk about how you're preparing for that? And she said, how you're preparing for your 6 weeks of therapy. She said, because it's going to change you. As a matter of fact, it's life changing. She's quite familiar with this protocol. So I'm going to describe to you what I'm doing. So why did I label this mind, body, and spirit prep? Because it is, and again, that's what I'll be talking about for Dr. Brook Goldner's um, Goodbye Autoimmune Rapid Recovery Group. So all of that will be less of a mystery to some of you, and for some of you, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But let me take you back to a couple of things. First of all, years ago, and I know it because I made marks all over it years ago, I got this book, Goodbye Lupus, because I had some autoimmune diseases that I knew about. One almost 20 years ago, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Then another one came about, and that was something called microscopic colitis about, I don't know, 8, 10 years ago. And then the last one that we started seeing the antibodies for rheumatoid arthritis. And Goodbye Lupus wasn't about reversing lupus for everybody involved. It was what she did. She reversed her autoimmune disease, lupus, but her protocol, she found, reversed, could reduce symptoms, but also reverse and certainly prevent, but how do you prove that? Multiple autoimmune conditions, but also if something becomes an autoimmune condition, it has to do with inflammation. Most diseases, almost all cancers, come from an inflammation. Well, you get rid of the inflammation and you've ratcheted up your chances for a long, healthy life. So I got this, it was helpful. Then I got this, Goodbye Autoimmune. Now, what is the difference? This is the protocol, the food protocol. This is the food protocol plus the lessons she learned while she was helping people with this protocol. And most of those lessons had a lot to do with not just responses in our body, but quite often, uh, not just the responses, but also the causes of some of that inflammation being within us, quite often in our mind and our adrenal system. In other words, our body's reaction to any number of stimuli, starting from the way we view things, starting from our mind. So she is a board certified psychiatrist. She is board certified as an MD and in psychiatry and in trauma. And so she wrote this book from the notes she had as she worked with people using the protocol. So this is the protocol and her taking us through one by one things that cause emotional effects and how to work through them. And then she also has something like 20, 25 case studies of people who reversed their disease. All of this is quite, well, impressive, but also inspiring. So at the beginning of September, and I'm not going to repeat everything that would help this be a little bit more clear, because it would take me too long. But knowing all of this in the second of September, because I had just had labs, they showed all kinds of inflammatory markers. I don't want inflammation based on what I just explained to you about what that can lead to. And so I, on my own, because I knew she had a rapid recovery group coming up, but it was a month and a half later. I didn't want to wait. I started September 2nd, and it ended on the 16th of September. It was 6 weeks. Sorry, 16th of October. It was 6 weeks. And I got a test. Those markers were low or back to normal. It was like, yes, I know this works. So I remained true to the hyper-nourishment, and hyper-nourishment means just three things: a pound of deep leafy green or cruciferous vegetables, flax and chia seeds, certain amounts, and water, certain amounts. Hyper-nourishment on the most highly nourishing foods that we can have. And so I kept doing that. It could have been in the form of a salad. It could have been in the form of crudités and even guacamole. But instead, most people find it so much easier just to throw the whole thing, as I do every morning still. It's been over 3 months. In my blender, huge smoothie with a pound of these vegetables, deep leafy green, cruciferous, half a cup of chia or flax, or a combination of the two, more than 96 ounces of water, and some fruit to make the medicine go down, at less than 25% fruit by volume, not by weight. Okay, so I still do that. And so I believe, healthier than I've ever been, because I feel great, no symptoms. I just turned 74, and I feel that I could go on, and not feel the gravity of age pulling me down, because I'm keeping my body so well nourished. And what I stepped down to when I left the pure raw of the Goodbye Lupus protocol was my whole food plant-based diet. And I'm not going on 7 years now of strictly whole food plant-based. So that, plus the hypernourishment of that amount of greens in my case, in the way of a smoothie. So that's where I am now, but I'm finally going to do her rapid, I think I'm going to sneeze. Thank you. I mean, if you said bless me, bless you, I just said thank you. I love to sneeze. I don't know about you, but it just rattles everything. Okay, so on this Friday, this happens to be the 21st of January, and this Friday I begin her rapid recovery group, the first one that she has done this year. Hasn't done one since the one that ended in November. And I'm really excited about it. And that's what elicited the response from Janet. Why don't you tell how you're going to prepare for it? And the more I thought about it and the more I wrote, the more I realized, yes, there is preparation, there's understanding, there's dedication, determination. Do I want to do this again? Another 6 weeks of nothing cooked, of no grains, no legumes, no nuts, no my soups and my, special curries and all of that are so healthy. But no, none of that, because, and this is why I'm doing it. So I'm going to go over why this is so valuable, and then I'll talk about my process. And I'm going to do some reading because I could just look at you and chatter, but I know I'll forget something and afterwards think I really meant to say this, that, or the other. So the program is a powerful healing protocol designed to help the body repair and restore itself through intentionally high levels of nourishment for both the body and the brain. The program centers around two pillars: the nutritional overload of fuel, or to fuel at a cellular level and reduce inflammation, and the emotional healing to support the mind's role in recovery. Dr. Goldner is an MD, but she is, as I said, also board certified in psychiatry and as well as trauma. When I wrote my book, Aging Powerfully, I wrote this just before turning 70 because I'd been with a lifestyle medical practice, seeing so many people reverse disease simply by practicing lifestyle as medicine based on the pillars that are prescribed by the College of Lifestyle Medicine. When I wrote it, the word powerfully became an acronym for 10 lifestyle modalities that lead to better and stronger health and therefore longevity. But the first third of the book, quarter to the third of the book, is told a story about childhood neglect and long-term eating disorder, trauma later on in life. And I've come to believe that it's still underlying my emotional response to things and possibly affecting not only my body, but my mind, my emotions, and again, therefore my immune system, because of the inflammation that our mind has has control over our body to instill. As I begin this journey, I've been thinking about the best way to prep. I've written that down once inspired to do it and to think it through. And I hope that sharing this with you for my preparation will help encourage you, whether you're considering this program or embarking on your own healing path, to look at possibilities that taking action can have. First, the underlying protocol. I'll start with the basics. Dr. Goldner's protocol focuses on, I used the word hyper-nourishment or overnourishment. Her words are intentional overdoses of nourishment. That means consuming large amounts of raw, nutrient-dense foods, particularly those leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables. If I showed you something, well, I am showing you something. This is a list that Dr. Furman created. You can go online and look for Dr. Furman's ANDI score, ANDI. It's a nutritional density score of foods based on their nutritional power per calorie. Number one, kale. Then collard greens, mustard greens, watercress, Swiss chard, bok choy, spinach, arugula, romaine, Brussels sprouts, da da da. It goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. Doesn't get to any kind of animal product until we're, gosh, at number 34, and that is salmon, and that is fish, and that's what, well, I won't even get into why I'm whole food plant-based, so I'll leave that part alone. But my point is, he has listed in order the healthiest foods we can eat, and the cruciferous vegetables are among the very top, the first 5, first 10. Spinach isn't cruciferous, but spinach is a powerhouse of nutrition, and so that's something that a lot of us use a lot of, along with the kale and arugula. Even radishes are a cruciferous vegetable. So we pile those foods on. Why raw? Because she has shown that by cooking a nutritious vegetable, you can lose 20 to 30% of the nourishment And her point is, if the body can only hold so much food and we give it the most hyper nourishment we can, we have a much better chance of getting results when we're going strictly raw long enough to heal the body. And that's the rationale behind it. So, the omega-3s we get from flax and chia. What's the big deal about that? The omega-3s go straight into our system. You know, I've talked about this before. Just suffice it to say that they are the only fats, well, besides the natural fat on avocado, that are encouraged. And it's because they go straight to our nervous system in ways that she can talk about, I've talked about before, and they make a big difference in healing our nervous system, our organs, and healing at a cellular level. So with these foods, we are giving ourselves, if something is retractable, a disease is retractable or preventable, this will take care of it. And this is exactly what she's shown in thousands of people. It's a radical expectation. And some people have a really hard time doing it. And I think I said earlier, I didn't want to do it again because I really missed my cooked food, even if it was my choice of food was radical compared to what most people eat: whole food, plant-based, low sugar, salt, or no sugar, no added oils. I did use, and I still do use, a little bit of salt. And then massive amounts of water, at least 96 ounces or more, to wash through, keep all of that moving. And again, she gets great results. There are also some foods that are intentionally excluded, and they are, and even the ones that are otherwise on a whole food plant-based diet, like the grains and legumes and nuts and processed foods, which will slow down healing or even prevent it. So we're giving ourselves the best possible environment for healing. We pay particular attention to this because, or I will pay particular attention because when I went to step down last time and I had all these great results, I had some inflammatory markers go up again. One in particular, something called the ESR, the erythrocyte sedimentary rate, which I am determined to get down to normal, and went down to normal the first time around. This time, I'm going to follow the protocol exactly. Last time, a couple of meals, I went out with my husband and thought, oh, I'll just have the steamed vegetables, and or I will have some tofu on my salad, and I won't know until I do it perfectly how powerful perfectly can be. The other critical part of the program is the emotional guidance. Dr. Goldner teaches that healing is not just physical, but deeply emotional. The program emphasizes daily mental health practices to reduce stress, process emotions, and foster a healing mindset. We will have a chance during these 6 weeks to every day, including the weekends, connect and express what we're thinking, how we're feeling, what we're eating, how we're moving. All of that is evaluated, all of it is encouraged, and all of it is going to give us a chance to, if we hit a snag, to work through that snag with somebody who is highly trained to get us through it. Imagine being with a therapist every day for a 6-week period of time. That's what her program is. So the preparation for the journey. In preparation, and in order to fully embrace the program, I broke this down into 3 categories: the mental, the practical, and the emotional. First, I've spent time setting up my intention, remembering my intention, remembering that this time I don't want to have to do it again. I want to get everything I can from it to know if what I am working toward is possible, and I believe it is. If she can reverse lupus, Sjogren's, help people with multiple sclerosis get out of a wheelchair that they've been in for decades, my little inflammatory marker that's not even that high anymore should be very doable. But that's my why. The why is also because I promised in this book that I was dedicating the rest of my life to passing on the words that we can age with power into our 80s, 90s, and beyond by doing certain things on purpose. And on purpose, I'll see what that's going to look like from this point on. So that is my intention during my self-guided Goodbye Lupus protocol. As I said, I didn't quite stay as committed. This time I will remember my whys, and yet I did get results, but again, didn't quite stick. So next, I'm even more mindful that food is medicine. And I say it all the time, food is medicine. Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine, let medicine be thy food. But more than ever, every bite, every sip has a purpose to nourish my cells, reduce inflammation, and create the best environment for healing. No improvising, no deviating. And I'm going to let the emotional portion of this and this physical portion meld. What's the practical preparation? On the practical side, I've been getting my kitchen ready. I stocked up even more with the essentials like the leafy greens, spinach and kale, broccoli, cauliflower, which are cruciferous vegetables, the fruit I will need for my smoothies, the frozen fruit, make sure I have plenty of that. These foods will form the foundation for my daily meals and those large green smoothies that I have every day. And I'll rely on her book, Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious, to help me with that. Because in this book, she has delicious meals like pasta covered with a creamy tomato sauce that are compliant. That pasta is zucchini. The tomato sauce is raw tomatoes, blended up, all completely raw, and yet all delicious. So I'll use the book even more than I did last time, and I'll do some additional demonstrations online with that as well. Got plenty of flax and chia seeds. I don't want anything to seem like it's a bother, so I don't want to have to restock except on those fresh foods that we have. And I will rely on the cookbook to keep it fun and interesting, including things like flax crackers that I can make in my dehydrator. As before, I set myself up for hydration success, 96 ounces. I drink 2 of these a day. They're 14 ounces each. I drink 2 of my 22-ounce water carafes. It's stainless steel. I carry it everywhere I go with me. And if we go out, I won't be going out that much because I will be simply sticking with completely raw food. Last time I went out some, and that's when I would acquiesce and say, well, okay, lightly steamed will be fine. Not doing that this time. So 2 of those is, so this is 28 ounces if I have at least 2 of those. The 22-ounce carafe, that's another 44. And then in my smoothie, I put another 40 to 44 ounces of water, and the water in the smoothie counts as well. So I'm well over the 96 ounces, but that's how I count. And so I recommend to people who ask me about that to have a form of measurement that you can check off. And as long as I know that I've done these 2, this one will be gone maybe by the time I finish with my group that I'll get back to as soon as I finish this recording. Already had the smoothie, and one of the 22-ounce containers. And so I'm able to check it off that easily and know where I'm at. Having the right tools is essential. My Vitamix or a high power blender is essential, I think, for the part that I keep easy, which is doing a smoothie rather than eating that pound of cruciferous plus all the pounds from the rest of the meals throughout the day. And it helps keep me more capable to have other things well organized, like my meal prep in advance. When I make that sauce, I make a lot of the sauce and I put it on a number of things. There is a ravioli that's marvelous. Well, the inside of that is a wonderful combination of avocado and ground or riced cauliflower. Well, having extra of that is also handy. So that's what I mean by planning in advance. Well, what about the emotional prep? How do you plan for that? To prepare, I've strengthened my daily practices. I use a method of meditating that is I get blocked with this one. Anyway, it's a 12, for me, I do the 12-minute Satanama, and there's other portions to that. I even have a video about that. I'll put it up with this. And if it's not with this, then just Google it. I'm not sure now if I even have it separate or if it was in one of these talks. My point is, I have a meditation practice that I do every morning. I may do it longer. I may also double up and do it in the evening just to keep my mind, I'll say compliant, because that's part of what meditation does. It teaches the mind that we can hold it still, that we don't have to, that we can let it rest, let it settle, rather than bouncing around on every thought that comes to us and running off with that thought. Part of meditation isn't keeping your mind empty, but it's letting things, if they come up, float through without a reaction and go right back to either the breathing or, in this case, the chant. Also journaling. Journaling regularly to process thoughts and emotions. I'm also committed to daily gratitude practice and even mindful exercising. I cycle. I love to ride in an area of a park and then down by a river bottom where there's a lot of natural greenery. And I listen to podcasts. Well, what I've made myself do lately is to turn everything off and simply, as I'm riding, mindfully ride, pay attention to the wind in my face, pay attention to the movement of my muscles, pay attention to what is visibly in front of me, the birds going by, the sounds of them. All of that, being in nature is huge, but all of that is getting me tuned to being receptive to what I'm going to be walking into with someone who is evaluating thoughts and emotions, foods and action on a daily basis for 6 weeks. Support is also a big part of the emotional preparation. I've let important people in my life know that I was doing this. This was my health journey, and let them know that I'm doing it and doing it again after having gotten good results, to pull up the parts that I still need to strengthen, so that they'll cheer me on, so that they'll understand what I'm doing. I was so taken by the responses I got from people when I finished my 6-week protocol, September to the mid-October, and did a recording, did a video about the success that I had gotten, how many people were so supportive. It was marvelous. And I'll be sharing what I can share with you on a regular basis during this protocol. I don't know enough to know how often I'll do that. It could be every day. Okay, today was my chance to, and then whatever I learned, whatever it meant to me, however I responded. I don't know. I won't know until we begin. And then what to expect, what I should be expecting. While I'm excited about the program, I know that there's going to be challenges. The detox symptoms like fatigue, headache, cravings. You'd think, oh, Nan, if you're whole food plant-based and you're already hyper-nourishing, what kind of detox could you possibly have? Well, I can have a cup of coffee still. I like coffee. But I'm not going to be having a baked little slice of oat square anymore with my coffee. And that sounds ridiculous, but I'm going to miss it because I really like a little something with coffee. Um, on the other hand, in Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious, there is a recipe for Alex's candy. I can't find it with my one hand. Here. This was, hmm, ah, this is Alex. Alex, on the front of the book is, I can read this to you. I thought I could say that easily and just let it be, but it doesn't happen with me that way. I don't know if I can find this, so I'm not going to. But the dedication to to our sweet Alex, we love and cherish you to eternity. Alex passed away. He passed away last year. I believe it was December 17th, not December 17th, 24, but 23. Auto accident. And the decision was, do we leave his recipes on the book, in the book? And they said, absolutely. He loved his position in the family as the dessert maker. So, God, man. Okay, so, but they're wonderful. It's cocoa, cacao, and banana. And I form it into little square silicone ice cube trays, just half full. So I have these little slices of this marvelous frozen banana chocolate. And yeah, guess what? I'm still going to have my tea or coffee with that. So sorry for the sideline and that. I don't seem to not be able to do that. Okay. Um, Oh, okay. So, but there will be things that are missed a lot. And we'll just say in general, cravings and our body adjusting to the new norm, like all raw food, which means all cool food. Some people say, but I get so cold. And I agree. I got really cold when I was high raw the last time. And she said, so have a sweater. In other words, if you want this, do it. You have a special sweater that you put on after you drink your smoothies, which make you cold, or drink tea when you're feeling chilly, and herb tea. So, um, and I'll still be making the food I love because my husband is not on this protocol. He can't cook for beans, and so I'll be making his meals, putting it on his plate and sitting down to my cool food. But it's okay. Again, the why. And I'm preparing myself and recognizing those challenges. And this time there'll also be a group behind me that we can share some of that with. And then creating a healing environment. Part of preparation is also setting up a healing space. And though I enjoy many areas of my home, I have a couple of special ones, places where I could sit for a long time, put a blanket over my lap or around my shoulders with a cup of tea and just chill. And I'm looking forward to slowing down enough during this period. Oh, you want to meet an angel? Here, wait a minute. Let me see if I can get her. This is Sunny. Isn't she adorable? I found her almost dead. She was 7 weeks old. Somebody had thrown her out of a car. She's now 5 months old. Anyway, okay, going back up there. Okay. And, oh man, gosh, I'm going all over the place. So I already know that I'm going to celebrate the success of every day at night before I go to bed. I already know where I'm going to journal. It'll be in this one particular area on this one particular chair that I look forward to being calm enough to sit for periods of time, which isn't my nature. I could say I never sit during the day unless it's this. Um, and that's pretty close to true. Okay. And for just calm reflection, a place to, and the willingness to sit still. All right. And then celebrating that progress, everybody needs to be able to, when they're doing something challenging, evaluate what good looks like. And in any way necessary, celebrate it. I do support group with the clinic on a weekly basis. And somebody today was comparing herself to other people and said something like, when we do check out, we're checking out what we're going to, meaning check out with what we're dedicated to do that week coming up to get us closer to our health goals. And she said, well, I guess I have to redo everything. And man, was I on that in a heartbeat. Oh, heck no. You do so much right. And that's what I mean. We stop ourselves short of negative self-talk and remember what we do right, all of what we do right, before we ever compare or evaluate ourselves as less than. There's no place for that. I loved the way I felt at the end of the last journey. I still look at that challenge and think to myself, Nan, you did that for 6 weeks. It seemed to go on, and then it was over. And then I got the results. I can't wait to do that again, have those feelings again, but this time walking alongside, metaphorically speaking, but almost, Dr. Goldner. I respect and admire her tremendously. She's been through what I can't even talk about. She came through it magnificently. Um, and so again, I respect and admire her. If there's one thing I'd like you to take away from this, it's this. Healing is an investment. It requires time, effort, and trust in the process, but it's worth it because it's an investment in yourself, in your future, and in a long, healthy life. I'll leave you with one of my favorite affirmations. Healing is not linear, but every step forward is a step toward full, healthy wholeness. Feeling, and that's what I want, feeling that our health is enveloping us, that we're wholly, fully healthy. That's all I have to say. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for being on my channel, and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it, and we'll get more people understanding that we are in control of our own health. Have a great day. I know I'm going to, and now I get to go back to my buddies who are in the background, and we'll have a conversation about all of this. Bye-bye.